It has finished at the Brentford Community Stadium, Brentford 2, Watford 0. Well, it is what it is. We're promoted, we got the job done, and today we were just lacking that motivation, and hopefully we can end the season on a high, end it on a bang with a win at home, where we always do win, hopefully against Swansea City. We know that'll be another difficult challenge. They know that they've got playoffs, but it's just about the order of those positions and who gets the first home fixture in the semi-finals. But ultimately, yeah, it just was one of those days. Brentford were the better team, and we were just not quite, on it. And, we did rest a lot of players, some players through injury, other players just to give him, fringe opportunities. Joseph Hungbo got that, and a very, very big blow to see him go off. You got to feel for the lad because he started the game so well, but it's just one of those, very frustrating times in football where you got the promise, you got the quality, but sometimes it just goes against you. And it just wasn't quite the game today. But there wasn't much to play for going into it. So at the end of the day, it's one of those days, and fantastic win for Norwich. Fair play. We've got to give them credit. Fair enough for the title. We always wanted that automatic promotion. It wasn't title too much of a priority, but at the end of the day, with that win today, I think Brentford have sealed third place. So yeah, fair enough, Brentford. We're going to do our match review now. So let me just gather my thoughts and quickly do a first half summary. I got to be honest, the first half there wasn't a lot going on, to be perfectly honest. And you did come into this game thinking, how hungover are we going to be from our celebrations of promotion? To get it done with 2 games to spare is always brilliant, but then you wonder for the second games how seriously you're going to actually take it. But we just had a chance today to really go out, enjoy ourselves, and just put on a show, try and get out that Brentford team and see if we could cause them problems with a few of our different kind of squad players. We put Joseph Hungbo in there. We've started from the beginning the likes of Christian Kabasele and Cleverly, but we just thought, why not express ourselves? And, I think Brentford did have the playoffs already. It's just that has confirmed their third position. But to start off the game, it was actually a good chance for Watford. Whipped in by Tom Cleverly from a free kick. And actually, it's a good chance with a header from Craigie Boy Cathcart. The Northern Ireland centre-back maybe should have done better with a header, but just couldn't quite get the perfect connection they might have wanted. So that's a shame. Just went wide by him. 7 minutes in, and you've got a wonderfully floated ball from Adam MASINA, and this is lovely, lovely play. Just couldn't quite find Andre Gray, but certainly the intention was there. Not quite the result, though. Then it looked as if Gray was about to get away and get in on goal on 9 minutes, but crucially for Brentford, Norgard just nicked it in time and stopped the danger. 11 minutes in, Dan Gosling, really big chance for him. He has been a brilliant player for us in this second half of the season. He's been a great signing, great experience, and a big chance fell to him after some really good positive running from Joseph Hungbo, showing that skill, showing that determination to drive past defenders, and he actually did get clipped in the box, but the referee played advantage, Lee Mason, and it falls to Dan Gosling, and he tries to kind of stroke it past him on the first time effort, but it's straight at the goalie, and a decent save from David Raya. So yeah, good chance there. And you felt as though it was going to be a pretty tough task, because for us to get the title, we would need to win both of our games against Brentford and Swansea. Very difficult opposition, of course, and to win both of them, and then hope that Norwich only lost or drew one of their games. And they were at home this week, so, fair enough, Norwich. They did get a very big win over Reading. Reading, of course, will be gutted to have missed out in the playoffs, but they just really did struggle with a bit of their form at the end of this season, and with that Lucas João injury has kind of hurt them a little bit. But 15 minutes in, a little bit more pressure from Brentford, and the kind of pin ball around the box once again. I'm not sure why the camera's frozen once again, people, but we will hopefully get that back at some point. No, but the point was, it was a decent opportunity for Brentford to maybe get the opening goal of the match, and just some good defending in the end from Sierralta to block it. But, could have been an opportunity there for one of them in the box. 18 minutes and a really good effort from Norgard, and a big chance for the Brentford man here, because it's a really nice and clever run to the back post. The ball is just kind of floated there, and the volley is on that first time shot, first time effort, and he tries to kind of control the volley down, but it just goes over the net, and he can't quite steer it on target. But a very good effort from Brentford. And Hungbo then has that really gutting moment where he just starts to run at a ball, tries to chase it down, and does his hamstring, and it's hopefully not too serious that he will be ruled out, before the start of next season. But at the end of the day, it's such a shame. On his first league start, he would have been chomping at the bit to really prove himself today. He's got so much potential and a very good future ahead of him, but he just hasn't really had the team opportunities because of the fact that this squad is so strong in its depth. But yeah, it's a real shame, and he had to be substituted off fairly early on in the first 22 minutes. So he comes off after a decent start as well, and on comes the substitute Philip Zinkernagel, which means that he went on that right-hand side, but then disaster struck again with a second injury. Tom Cleverley this time with a slight knock, so he comes off. On comes Isaac's Success, and he did, of course, hit the bar later on in the game, but ultimately, maybe we should have brought on Stipe Perica instead. I don't know. It's just, at that stage of the game, is Success the best substitute to bring on? He just hasn't got confidence at the minute, and, I always put in my, gratitude for him working hard, and he is still trying, but just not the quality at the minute, and is really struggling to get anything. But anyway, a really good chance for Brentford once again. A nice touch from Ivan Toney, showing his awareness and showing his skill. A back heel, and it fell to Force, who really should have stroked it at least at Backman on target, but it was well over the bar, and not a good finish at the end of the day. Toney runs through, and you're thinking, oh dear, this is not good. We've kind of committed defensively and not made the challenge. They could be in behind here. But then a really good block from Dan Gosling after the pullback from Ivan Toney. And yeah, it was just fairly good defending to nullify the chance. Cleverley obviously comes off, we mentioned that. And then Brentford put the ball in the back of the net, and it's actually a goal for Force. But it's actually offside. Good decision from the linesman. He ran around Will Hughes in an offside position, and did, finish it very well, to be fair to him, with the back heel. And after that flick, you thought that would be a really nice, tidy finish. But yeah, correctly given as offside and chalked off, much to Watford's relief. The important thing for this season was to go up, and at the end of the day, we did it automatically, which was the key ingredient. And we don't need to worry about the title. At the end of the day, Norwich have probably got the best first 11 this season, and they've got so many points because of it. We've probably got the best squad in terms of squad depth, and we've at times had so many problems and so many issues to overcome, and we have overcome that to get automatic promotion when at times it didn't look likely. So yeah, I'm very much satisfied with that. So yeah, Norwich get that equaliser against Reading. Reading did go ahead originally, but you thought, yeah, it wasn't probably going to last. Norwich have got so much quality right now. But then the chance for Reading once again. Brentford once again. Ivan Toney, header those straight at Daniel Backman. We will, people, just try and get back the screen once we can, but it's just it's not quite doing it at the minute. So bear with us when we get that back. But yeah, ultimately a fairly comfortable save for Daniel Backman. Just collects the header from Toney on 35 minutes. And really, the first half just completely flew by. A pretty lackadaisical first half, it has to be said, because both sides not that, determined to get something from the game. Oh, we're back. So yeah, it was just lacking a bit of motivation from Watford. And Brentford, they knew they had the playoffs, and they obviously want to win their last home game of the season. But at the end of the day, it was just one of those games, not much going on, and not much, desire and urgency, because, it's got to that point where both sides, they've kind of confirmed their fate. But it was an awful bit of play later on in the game from Isaac's success, and we will talk about that in a second. And now, actually, we will talk about it. So Isaac's success, he gets brought on. He's got the strength, he's got the pace, but the final pass is always wrong with him. You just got to play it better, and this shows how we really do miss Saul when he doesn't play. He had a slight knock, minor injury, season miss out today, and on that right-hand side, after Cleverley's injury, success goes to that position, and Philip Zinkernagel fills in where he's used to, protecting that kind of back four and that holding midfield position. And yeah, you can't cross like that. It's just no accuracy, and he's got to have a bit of confidence, got to have a bit of composure in that position to get it into the box, but he just completely overhits it. And like I mentioned with the substitution, maybe we should have brought on Stipe Perica instead, who, has done so well when he's played. And we always say Stipe Perica, release the beast, because he is a legendary player in the respect. He's scored goals when he's played, which has been barely that often. But no, on a serious note, at the end of the day, he went for success. And success maybe should have scored in the game, had a few chances. But, Brentford were looking dangerous at the end of that first half. We were starting to decline in our dominance of the game. And though we had those early chances in the first half, maybe the better chances through the likes of Dan Gosling, Brentford starting to have a few more chances in the game. And just ultimately quite a boring first half. So second half comes about, and you're thinking, okay, could get a bit more interesting now, hopefully. And what happens? Right the start of the second half, it's as if we go into that second half off the back of how that first half kind of played out, and that was boring. So we just kind of fell asleep because of how boring it was. We come out in the second half, and Brentford score on the 46th minute. And, Brentford have got quality. We know this. At the far post, Force taps in. We're just caught cold. We're caught napping, caught lacking, and you just can't really say that we defended that situation well. It's a sloppy goal to give away, and it is a shame, but we just weren't kind of in the game. And it was one of those games that passes you by due to that lack of motivation. And it's disappointing ultimately, but at the end of the day, we would certainly be glad and relieved that we didn't have to win this game. The scenarios would have been different. We would have had a stronger team out there, a bit different attitude and all that stuff. But we just kind of went into this game thinking, meh, very, very average one. So, it doesn't have huge consequences, that goal getting conceded. But at the end of the day, it's a shame to see that, kind of given away and on a plate for Force. And, it's fine. It's the season is done. Our job is accomplished, and we're happy with that. But hopefully we'll smarten up a little bit defensively in the next few months. 59th minute, Router, he caught Ivan Toney, and it's a penalty. It's kind of Stonewall, really. Doesn't get the right side of him. And I mentioned how we need to sharpen up defensively. We've been the best defensive team this season, so it's always going to be prone to mistakes eventually. We are human, but this day wasn't the day for that impeccable run to continue. And he stuck it away so confidently, Ivan Toney. This is a guy at the top of his level, at top of his game. Got to be honest, he's been doing bits for me in fantasy football for Gaffer.io Championship. And when I don't score good points in certain weeks, like this week, at least Toney's the one consolation. He gets goals. But shame to see it go against us. And he just kind of got a lot of conviction on that penalty. Backman guessed it the right way, but it was way too good of a penalty to stop from getting into that back of the net. So, we just haven't really looked like scoring today. We haven't really looked like we've got the motivation, and we didn't need it, so we didn't really want it. We didn't really throw our, bodies on the line for it, which is disappointing, but it's very much expected. It's understandable, and, at the end of the day, the title was a very unlikely possibility, so it's not much of a dream. We weren't expecting it, but it's, at the end of the day, a very tough game, and Brentford have just done the better job of it on the day. Andre Gray trying with a chance, 70th minute in, and it's a really good ball, to be fair. And it kind of just comes over his shoulder. Very difficult skill, though, to bring that down, and he can't quite do it. ahead of David Raya, who comes out, tries to intimidate him, and the ball runs out of play. So Isaac's success, we mentioned how he had a few chances in this game, should have done better with his, final delivery of the ball, final, simple passing, but he really should have scored. And yeah, it's a good opportunity. He's hit it well, but he's kind of overcomplicated it. He's gone for power when he should go for placement in that kind of close proximity. It's just one of those ones. He brings it down well. He's got that strength. Really good ball in from the left-hand side from Adam MASINA. And success does well to outmuscle the defender. But then with the final product, it's just smashing the bar. And actually might have been a save from David Raya, because I think he gets a slight nick on it. So yeah, he really should have scored that. But at the end of the day, it was a difficult chance, and shame to see him not quite get that composure in front of goal. But we just didn't have the urgency in this game, and we might have done if we'd have had something to play for. If we'd have already been, if we weren't already promoted, it could have been a different game. So yeah, it's been a great season, and understandable. We've kind of, ended it with a couple of games. Brentford and Swansea always going to be difficult, and I think we're, with the fuse has blown a little bit. We're tired. We've kind of given our all in these last few weeks, and that was a sign that it kind of had played a bit of a toll on us, really. Brentford were very good on corners, to be fair, today. They seemed to just have a very clear understanding of what they were doing on set pieces, and they had players that have great movement. They get to that back post, they win the header, and they knock it across goal, try and, find a way to follow it in. And yeah, they had a few good chances, but a few good blocks from Watford's defenders. And on 78 minutes, a very nice, decent opportunity. A back post runner once again, but he can't quite get the purchase on it to get it in a dangerous position. Great to see Pochettino come on for his, professional debut. I think it's, been a long time coming, and I think it was the right kind of game because of the fact there was nothing left to play for. See him, experiment and see what he's like. He didn't have a great start, to be fair, but he will, learn with experience. He's still very, very young. Very early stage of his career, and he should hopefully be a really bright star of the future. But yeah, did make a little bit of an error, lack of awareness, where he just doesn't realise that Canos is behind him, and he goes for the shot, absolute rocket, hits the crossbar, and then once again Brentford recycle the ball. He tries to put the ball in the box, Sergi Canos, but it flashes straight across with no one getting the final touch. So yeah, we just got to forget about this one. It was one of those days and one of those games where we just kind of experimented with a few players. Ultimately, our key goal is that we're on the Premier League, and we will be with the big boys once again next season. And the key thing, again, is signings. We need to recruit well. We need a striker because, Pedro and Dini and Pedro and Sarr, I just said Pedro twice. Say it twice because, he's absolute quality. No, yeah, we do need that Premier League quality striker, as many Championship clubs do, and they need that kind of, I shouldn't say 20 goal a season because that's ridiculous, but 15 goal a season striker that can, do enough to help your team stay up. And I think we have shown in the last few years that we have that Premier League ability to establish ourselves and be consistent. But right now we need to go back to those kind of levels because hopefully we'll recruit well. But Perica had a chance that released the beast, and the beast nearly found the way through, but no. 88th minute, he tried to dink it, and it was a very difficult technique. And David Raya, fairly comfortable, caught it in his hands, and safe stuff, really. So, yeah, it was 2-0. That's how it ended, with the penalty from Tony, the goal from close range by Force, and it's just one of those days. We've got to dust ourselves down, forget about this one. Let's see if we can end the season on a high against Swansea. Swansea did just play their match, of course, with who was it? I've forgotten now, to be honest. I think they actually did end up getting 3 points, but I've forgotten. I think they also have confirmed that they've got the playoffs. But yeah, they did get a 2-1 victory over Derby, who once again have been plunged into more trouble. But too little too late for Swansea to be in the automatic promotion bid. Watford have got that over them, but can we also get a win over them? And it'll be fascinating to see who does, of course, get through the playoffs. I'd love Barnsley. I just think that would be a great story. If Brentford or Swansea won it, it'd just be a bit boring. But let's find out what happens. Thanks for watching my review. Man of the match is tough today, but if I had to give it to anyone, then maybe Adam MASINA put in some good crosses. Isaac's success, I don't think we can give a man of the match. He might have been involved, but he's just not taking those chances. Generally, just a bit of a limp result and a limp performance from the whole squad, because we're obviously a little bit drunk from the celebrations, as you would be. But no, I actually will give it to... I don't know. I was going to give it to... There just wasn't really anyone that turned up today. So we'll stick with Adam MASINA. I don't know. We didn't have a lot of chances, and ultimately defence wasn't awful, and it's been great all season. So yeah, it's a loss, but we'll play Swansea. We'll see what we can do there, and then we will be back where we belong, in the Premier League. Thanks for watching.